My dear students, you all warmly welcome for the third part of organizing function, creating and managing work groups and teams. I just want to inform you that actually we have discussed uh, first two part of organizing function. First part is creating organization structure, as well as second part is managing human resource management. Today we are going to discuss about the third part of organizing function called creating and managing work groups and teams. So actually, we know like once we have already decided goals and objectives, then after we have decided plans, then we definitely we have to go for organizing. So initially we have decided the organization structure. Then we actually got to know how we can manage human resources effectively in order to get the work done through them with by while ensuring happiness and healthiness with them. So today we are going to discuss, since under departmentalization, since we are grouping people, since we are creating work groups, teams, it should know that means we should know how we can manage this work group, how we can create this work group, and what are the nature of the group, or what kind of obstacles we or challenges that we have to face when we are going to create groups and teams. So actually, there is a significant difference between groups and teams, but even though apparently it look like similar, but there is a difference between these two. So let's discuss creating and managing work groups and teams. So this is the internal learning outcome. After completing this lesson, you should be able to identify 7 steps needed to sharpen skills at negotiation skill, because we know not exactly we don't want to know the 7 steps, but it is required to know the skills needed which required at the negotiation skill, and what is a group, different type of groups, and there are stages of group development. There are external conditions which imposed on our group, and there are 3 major factors which determine group performance and satisfaction. We know when managing and creating groups and teams, conflicts are inevitable. So what are the conflict management techniques? What is a work team? And differentiate work group from work team and explain characteristic of effective team. And finally, we'll be discussing what kind of challenges that we have to face when managing groups and teams. Yeah. So we know gather as much as pertinent information as possible before you negotiation. Like we know these skills are highly required for negotiation. Mean there are some demands from your end. So you want to win your demand. In order to win your demand, you go for negotiation process. So therefore, when negotiating, always we should ensure that we'll go for win-win solution, not win-lose solution. So both parties should be satisfied at the end, looking at the decision they have arrived together. So therefore, win-win solution is very much needed. So when you go for negotiation to win your demands, then it is highly required to have very relevant, sufficient information with you to justify your argument. And second one is take time to assess your own goal and others parties' goal and interest. So before you go for negotiation, you should evaluate your goal. What is my objective for this negotiation? What is their objective for this negotiation? So are these goals reasonable? Are these goals fair enough? So likewise, you have to assess your goal as well as the other party's goal when you go for negotiation. So initially, you have to get the required information as much as possible. Then you are required to assess your goal as well as the other party's goal. Third one is begin with a positive proposal. Like always, you should talk to the others with a very positive mindset. Very positive mindset. So begin with a positive proposal is very much important. So please don't do discriminating or uh, like uh, like talking with overestimated mood. It is not good. So always you should show the other party that you came here to draw a win-win solution, not to win-lose solution, not to win your demands only. Then address problem, not personalities. Not personality is not person, because we have seen when we go for negotiation, some people are pointing the weaknesses or mistakes that they have committed in the past. It is not important. Just focus the problem and not the person. Person is important, but you should focus the problem or a issue which is already in your head. So when you try to look at the persons, what will happen eventually? You will limit it to one frame, and you try to criticize that person without sensitive to the given problem. So therefore, my kind advice is when you go for negotiation, look at the problem, not the person. Then the fifth skill is like negotiating is communicating. Like if when you go for negotiating, you should be able to communicate in a very trust manner, telling the truth, being trustworthy, and honoring your commitment. Listen with your ears and eyes are very much important. So telling the truth, telling the truth is very much needed, and being trustworthy, honoring your commitment. Like trust is an important part of that communication, as well as when you go for, if you want to tell something, telling the truth at the key end, and being trustworthy and honoring your commitment. Listen with your ears and eyes. So then the other one is honoring your commitment. Like when you promise something, try your level best to do it, and listen with your ears and eyes. So always hear, always listen. Listen with your ears, be always you should try your level best to listen, and always try to observe from your eyes. Pay attention to important nonverbal messages. There are some nonverbal messages or a facial expression or a voice facial expressions which convey to you. So you have to be very sensitive for that aspect. Emphasize win-win solution, as I told you. So not win-lose, not lose-lose. But anyhow, both parties should be satisfied after arrived to the decision. So in a team also this is happening. So in a team we are negotiating. In a group we are negotiating. So we are negotiating to justify our idea. It is very much needed. Then groups and group development. So when you go for group, like two or more interacting and interdependent individuals who come together to achieve specific goal. So group and group development, we know like group is two or more interacting and interdependent individuals who come together to achieve specific goal. But interdependent, like groups are interdependent and they are interacting. It's Robinson Kotler's 2016 definition. But anyhow, in a group, two or more people in, they are interacting each other. But work group defined by the organization structure. You know what is meant by basically this group can be cascaded into two parts, formal group and informal group. For formal group mean work groups defined by the organization structure that have design work assignment. But when organization structure defined a group, we call it as a work group. Okay, appropriate behaviors are defined by and directed toward organizational goals. We know in an organization structure, it shows the relationship between job position. So therefore, for that job position, there is an appropriate behavior. Informal groups mean groups that are independent, that are independent, that are independent, as well as these groups are not created as a result of organization structure. So they may teach other to satisfy their social needs. Likewise, let's say when in an organization also, we have seen like there are some groups like say birds flock together, like lunch group or they are friends. They have not been appointed by somebody else for a formal task, but since they are matching each other, they flock together. Okay, but in an organization, informal group cannot be ignored because many more bosses are getting use of this informal group, especially as whistleblowers. The organization, these leaders are using them as whistleblowers to know the secret of the group. These informal groups are using. So right now we have discussed like group can be formal and informal. Further, we can divide them as command group and task group. So command group mean like group that are determined by the organization chart and composed of individual who report directly to a given manager. So command group and the formal group both are same. Like command group also, because commands are given by your immediate boss. So therefore command group mean it is determined by the organization chart. So command group and formal group are very similar. As well as task group mean like a set of people who appointed to complete a task. Once the task is completed, then once the task is completed, then they can this group will be vanished, or we no, that we no more existing of this group. Therefore, the existence of this group is temporary, because once the task is completed, the group disband. Another example for formal group is cross-functional group. Like this is somewhat a very, very famous type of group, like cross-functional group that bring together the knowledge and skill of individuals from various work areas. Let's say if we go for a new project, if we thought to acquire another company, to evaluate the feasibility of this decision, to evaluate whether this decision is wise decision, we are appointing a cross-functional group like HR, marketing, sales, legal, IT, engineering. So all as covering all aspect, we are appointing a cross-functional group. So we believe experts in these various work areas will provide a very good output for the feasibility of this project. Then self-managed group mean like group that are essentially independent and in addition to their own tasks, take on traditional responsibility. So self-managed group mean actually these group are not given A to Z instruction. They just appoint and just tell what to do and require deadline and the quality, and they will manage themselves and complete the task. Self-managed group can be done with decentralization and empowerment. There are some set of people who always wish to walk an extra mile, who always like to go an extra mile, and who shows organization citizenship behavior. With them, self-managed group can be promoted. There are 5 stages of group development. So you may feel like forming a group is very easy, like appointing a leader, then after giving a set of like members for the group. So that is all about like group development. No, when we are forming a group, actually, it is a very difficult task because we are grouping different personalities. We are grouping different personalities. So they have different views, different ideas. When they come with different ideas, what will happen eventually? They will go with they will go to the different directions. They will go to the different direction. So therefore, in order to put all them under one basket, stages in group development is very much needed. Like forming stage, members join and initially we have to form the group. How we can form? So we invite like uh, we invite a like group leader or a voluntary we ask to appoint. If not, members to join and begin the process of defining the group purpose, structure, and leadership. So therefore, forming is like we are appointing a set of members for the group. Then storming. Storming means like intra-group conflict occurs as individual resist control by the group and disagree over the leadership. Okay. So storming means like intra-group conflict. Like we know when we form a group, like when we define the organization purpose, structure, and when we appoint a leader at the forming stage, we know because of their different personalities, storming and kunatu samaya කියලා අපි කියනවා. Intra-group conflict happening because the different ideas, suggestions, oppositions are coming out at the storming stage. So therefore, we consider that stage as storming stage. Especially in this stage, conflicts are being inevitable. Third one is norming stage. Norming stage means like close relation. So once they have, once they realized that conflicts will hinder their performance, they try to enter into the norms or like kind of rules and regulation to complete their task. So they try to based on norms. Close relationship develop as group become cohesion and establish its norm for acceptable behavior. Then norms. Then performing. A fully functional group structure allow the group to focus on performing the task. At the performing stage, we try to complete the task. Adjoining mean like group prepares to disband and no longer concerned with high level of performance. Adjoining mean like disband. But anyhow, if we know like these 5 stages are very essential for group development, then what will happen eventually, my dear students? You may not surprise when conflicts arise. Definitely after conflict occurs, we have to come to a norm. We have to come to an agreement, specifying norms, rules, and regulation. So they likewise, if you know these 5 stages, so you know how to develop a group in a very systematic manner. So if you know these five stages, then you, as a person who create the group, you will allow a certain period for the storming stage. You will allow a certain period for norming stage. Okay, so likewise, so storming and norming is very two important stages for successful or effective group or a team. So therefore, these five stages are equally important in group development process. Look at this figure. Initially, at the forming stage, like since different personalities, they come up with different ideas of explain purpose, etc. So at the storming stage, there is a disagreement. There is a like face to face disagreement between parties. Then at the third stage, they come to they try to follow a set of norms to regulate their behavior. Then at the performing stage, there is a reciprocal relationship. That means there is an interdependence. They help each other. It's like a cobweb. There is a nice network. At then adjoining stage, some like this dotted line shows that some relationships are broken. Broken mean like vanish. But even though the task has been completed, some relationships are remained. So which shows the dark line. But anyhow, these five stages are very important for group development. Let's look at what are the external conditions imposed on the work group. Like basically, when we try to form a work group, like organization strategy is very much important because initially we look at the organization strategy. So whether it is a cost differentiation, whether sorry cost reduction, whether it is a product diversification, product differentiation. So likewise cost leadership, like then retrenchment, acquire another company. Oh, likewise organization strategy. We should know what is organization strategy. According to the organization strategy, we should decide the nature of the work group or a team because they are the because they are the people who are going to put this strategy into action. Then a thought relationship, like we should decide when we create a work group, we should decide whether we go with delegation or empowerment. So what is the difference between delegation and empowerment? Delegation means um, assign task and give A to Z instruction. අපි වැඩ පැවරීමක් කරන්නේ. So at the delegation stage, we provide frequent supervision, we provide advice at time, and we always ensure that the person is at the right track. But empowerment is not like that. Empowerment can be like empowerment. We just tell what to do with the required quality and the deadline. Then we allow a set of we allow a group to decide how it should be done with whom, etc. And the formal regulations as well. Formal regulations mean so there are some rules and regulations in the organization. SOPs are there, so we have to be very sensitive that aspect as well. In here, you may wonder why they are external, because since it is all are coming under organization umbrella, under the organization roof, how it become external? Because it is external to the work group. වැඩ ගෲප් එකෙන් එළිය තියෙන හැම දෙයක්ම එක්ස්ටර්නල් කියලා තමයි සැලකන්නේ. අපි ගෲප් එක තනි එකක් විදිහට සැලකුවම ඊට පරිබාහිරව තියෙන ඕනම දෙයක්, even though it is within the organization scope, but we consider it as an external. Then available organizational resources, employee selection criteria, because according to selection criteria, the nature of the members will decided for the group. ඇතුළට work group එකකට මිනිස්සු සේවකීන්ගේ ස්වරූපය තීරණය වෙන්නේ selection criteria එක අනුව. So especially when we design the selection criteria, selection committee should sensitive to the strategy, vision, mission, goals of the company. So the selection criteria should have a very proper match or alignment with the strategy, vision, mission, goals, objective. Because if the selected people cannot put this strategy, vision, mission, goals into action, actually they are not the right people for this organization. Then performance management, appraisal system, because we know like retaining best talent is a very hardest job. So therefore, if we are not measure their performance well, and if we are not giving reward, either financial or non-financial as they expected, we cannot retain best talented people. So therefore, work performance, like work group performance, can be in high performance can be ensured if they are satisfied with the rewards what they have received. Then organization culture, whether you have an individualistic culture or a collectivistic culture. Definitely, if organization go with work group, work team, definitely there should be a collectivistic culture. and general physical layout of the workplace like ventilation, lighting, then space, everything are matter whether sufficient space is provided for them to perform, etc., are very critical for work group success. Then there are three major factors that determine group performance. Basically, group member resources, group structure, and group task. So group member resources will be discussing one by one, a group structure as well as group task. Under group structure, we'll be discussing roles, norms, conformity, status system, group size. Let's discuss one by one. So let's go discuss group member resources, like which explain skills, knowledge, likewise. So before discuss group member resources, I would like to show the relationship like group performance satisfaction model. So external condition imposed on the group, like we have identified external conditions like organization strategy, authority, formal regulation, resources, selection criteria, performance management system, culture, physical layout. Then group member resources. So group member resources mean like knowledge, skills, abilities, or personality traits. Knowledge, skills, attitudes, personal traits are other group member resources. කියන්නේ සමාජිකයින්ට තියෙන සම්පත්. So initially when group performance or satisfaction is a function of external condition, group performance and satisfaction is a function of group member resources. Group performance and their satisfaction is a function of group structure, etc. So basically, initial external condition, we have to focus on group member resources and the structure of the structure of the group. So therefore, group structure, we have to identify the different roles, norms, conformity, status system, group size, cohesion, and group processes. Then group processes, let's like conflict resolution process, decision making process. So there should be a proper SOP, standard operating procedures for these processes. So then we know how conflict will be resolved. Then we know how decision making will be done. So then after group task, like whether the task is simple or complex, then based on that, group performance and satisfaction can be determined. So basically we can tell group performance and satisfaction is a function of external condition, group member resources, group structure, group process, and the given task, a group task. Okay. So let's discuss group member resources. When we talk about group member resources, initially knowledge of the members are very important, because they should have sufficient knowledge or regarding the given task. Not only knowledge is sufficient, but skill such as especially when they become a member of the work group, they should reach with conflict management and resolution skill, collaborative problem solving skill, and communication skills. Then after determine what members can do, abilities and personality traits cannot be changed. Like abilities mean determine what members can do, and personal traits like from genes, some people are having traits like extraversion, then agreeableness, likewise outgoing behavior. So these traits are coming from their genes, from their parents. So therefore it is very much important to know what are their traits, knowledge, and skills before they appoint for a group. Like state few positive and negative personal traits of group member which affect member morale, group productivity, and performance. This is homework for you. Like positive personal traits, I will tell you one positive personal trait mean like extraversion, outgoing behavior. Some people are very social. It's a trait. Negative personal traits mean like some people try to dominate the other people. කොහේ ආවත් අනිත් අයව පාලනය කරන්න බලන ගතියක් තියෙනවා. It's a negative personality trait. So explain how these traits, like you have to state two positive, two negative, and explain how these traits affect like group member morale, productivity, and performance. Like obviously, positive traits goes to increase morale, productivity, and performance, but negative traits goes to decrease the quality of the morale, productivity, and performance. Then the other one is group structure. So when talk about group structure, my dear student, work groups are not unorganized. Like group structure, like roles, norms, conformity, status, group size, group cohesion, group processes. Let's discuss one by one. When look at roles mean අපි කියන්නේ භූමිකා කියලා. So when I talk about myself, I am performing different roles. So if for the university, I'm a lecturer. In my house, for my kids, I'm a mother. Then for my husband, I'm a wife. For my parents, I'm a daughter. For my siblings, I'm a sister. So likewise, different roles on the road, I'm a pedestrian. Sometime when I'm driving my vehicle, I'm a driver. So when I go for a grocery, I'm a customer. So likewise, different roles we have to play. So in a group also, there are different roles they have to play. Sometimes they have to they act as an advisor, counselor. So likewise, then sometime as the leader. So different roles we have to understand. Look at this. Let's discuss one by one. When talk about roles, the set of expected behavior pattern attribute to someone who occupies a given position. යම් තනතුරකින් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන හැසිරීමක් තියෙනවා. එතකොට භූමිකාවක් කියන්නේ ඒ තනතුර තුළ ඔහුගෙන් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන හැසිරීම. So since I'm a senior lecturer, a set of expected behavior is expecting from me, like to complete marking on time and teaching for the students in a very accurate manner. So therefore, role conflict, experiencing differing role expectation when performing roles, actually there should no role conflict and role ambiguity. කියන්නේ මගේ භූමිකාවේ අපහැදලිභාවයක් තියෙන්න බෑ. මගේ භූමිකාව තවත් භූමිකාවක ගැටෙන්න බෑ. මට එකම වෙලාවේ මීටින් දෙකක් ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් දෙකකට දාන්න බෑ. එතකොට රෝල් කොන්ෆ්ලික්ට් එකක් ඇති වෙනවා. මගේ රස්සාව මට පැහැදිලි නැත්නම් එතන රෝල් ambiguity අපහැදලිභාවයක් ඇති වෙනවා. So therefore role ambiguity can be addressed if giving a very descriptive job description, job specification. And role conflict can be avoided when appoint a person for a group, like not giving dual roles to perform. Then norms mean like acceptable standard or expectation. So as an example, when they appointed for a group, they should fix a deadline with everyone consent. And they should have some kind of norms like punctuality, integrity, etc. Then common type of norms can be established considering the output level, absenteeism, promptness, socializing. Absent වෙන්න පුළුවන් අපි කියන මේ project එක ඉවර වෙනකම්ම දවස් දෙකක් විතරයි. So dress code, loyalty, for covering all these aspects, we can decide the different norms. Then conformity. When think about conformity, like individual conform in order to accepted by the group. Like හැමතිස්සෙම අපි අනුගත වෙන්න ඕනේ. යමක් කිව්වම අපි ඒ දෙයට කැමති වෙනවා කියන එක පෙන්වන්න ඕනේ. So group pressure can have an effect on individual members' judgment and attitudes. So therefore, always group leader should allow and encourage members to conform with norms. So conformity or agree with the norms is very much important. Group think mean like every people think in the same manner. අපි group එකක් නම් හැමතිස්සෙම එකම විදිහට හිතන්න ඕනේ. ඒ කියන්නේ අපි හැමෝම එකම විදිහට එකම කණ්ඩායමක් කියලා හිතලා වැඩ කරන්න ඕනේ. ඒකේ භාවයක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ කියන දේ. Then status system. Status system mean like the formal or informal prestige grading, like position or ranking, because we know like when in a group, like there is a president, secretary, treasurer, likewise there are status. So we should decide and define these status separately. එතකොට කවුද නායකයා, කවුද ලේකම්, කවුද බණ්ඩාගාරික කියන එක පැහැදිලි වෙනවා. So this status system is very much important, and this grading position ranking is very much important for the organization. Then group size, like small group, there are small group, there are large group. So complete task faster than large group, because group size is very much important. Some books have agreed that small groups are favorable than large groups. But anyhow, the maximum size would be like 8. අට කියන එකත් අපිට එහෙම කියන්න බෑ 8ද 5ද 6ද කියලා. According to the nature of the task, the group size can be determined. But anyhow, if employees are very committed, loyal, we can go with large group with the wide span of control. But if workers always try to avoid work, then better to go with small group. But anyhow, if the task is complex, we can go with small group. It is preferable. But if the task is simple, we can go with large group. So basically, whether we go with large or a small, depend on the nature of the task, as well as nature of the subordinates, as nature of the members, as well as the leaders and the nature of the other top guys in the group. So therefore, small group complete tasks faster than large group and make more effective use of facts. But large group solve problem better than small group. Because why? Why large groups solve problem better than small group? Because the diverse ideas, suggestions can come since there are a large number of people in the group. Are good for getting diverse input, are more effective in fact finding. But anyhow, when group become larger, social loafing can be happen. Social loafing is a negative consequence of a large group. Social loafing කියන්නේ අපි කියන්නේ too many cooks spoil the soup වගේ නැත්නම් there are free flyers, free riders. ඔය නිකන් ඉඳලා ලකුණු ගන්න කට්ටියක් නිර්මාණය වෙනවා group එකේ එන්න එන්න වැඩි වෙද්දි. The tendency for individual to expand less effort when working collectively than when working individually. තනියම වැඩ කරද්දී ඒගොල්ලෝ වැඩ කරනවා. හැබැයි එකතු වෙලා වැඩ කරද්දී අනිත් අයට මුවා වෙලා වැඩ මගහරන පිරිසක් ඇති වෙන්න පුළුවන් when group is large. So what is the instance where large group are better than small group? Like let's say when a task is simple, it is one, like more than 7 members. So that is the generally accepted around 7 members, but we cannot exactly tell 7 is the cutoff. But anyhow, large groups are favorable when task is simple, as well as when we have very loyal and committed set of work like members for our group. What are the two instances where social loafing happen in a work group? Like when first one is when groups are too much bigger, as well as when we are not defining. When we are defining the roles specifically, social loafing can be happen. And the other one is when the high performers are not appreciated correctly, also social loafing happen. Right? පළවෙනි එක තමයි social loafing වෙන්න පුළුවන් group එක විශාල වෙනකොටම අපි කලින් කිව්වා වගේ. දෙවෙනි කාරණාව තමයි හරියට ඒ group එකේ ඉන්න members ලගේ task එක define කරලා නැත්තම් කවුද වැඩ කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා කියලා නැත්තම් එතන social loafing වෙන්න පුළුවන්. වැඩ කරන එක්කෙනා වැඩ කරන නැති අය නිකන් ඉන්නවා. හට වැඩේ කියලා නැති නිසා කවුද කරන්නේ කියලා. Third instance is what? Third instance is even though there are high performers, but if they are not appreciated. ඒ කියන්නේ අපි හොඳට වැඩ කරපු අය appreciate කරන්නේ නැත්නම් ඒගොල්ලෝ හොඳට වැඩ කරපු අය ඊට පස්සේ අයිස් ගහනවා නැත්නම් අපි අයිස් ගහනවා කියලා කියන්නේ එහෙම නෙමෙයි. ඒගොල්ලෝ idling ඉන්න බලනවා. ඒගොල්ලෝ වැඩ නොකර ඉන්න ගන්නවා. They think it's very fair, right? It's very fair because they feel why we should work. ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ වචනෙන් කියන්නේ අපි ඉස්සර කියන්නේ ඉස්කෝලේ යන කාලේ අයිස් ගහනවා කියලා. කියන අයිස් ගහනවා කියලා කියන්නේ පැත්තකටලා වැඩක් නොකර ඉන්නවා. එතකොට so what will happen? They feel so why we should work? Even though we work, if they are not appreciating our effort, why we should work? Then social laughing happen. Then group cohesiveness. Group cohesiveness is another important aspect of group structure, like the degree to which members are attracted to group and share the group goal. කොතරම් දුරට ඒ group එකේ අය එකට එකතු වෙලා කැටි වෙලා තියෙනවද කියලා. When you look at this picture, you can see all exert equal attempt. All employees try to exert equal effort. හැමෝම තමාගේ කියන හැඟීමෙන් they have the own feeling. This is my place. This is where I should complete my task. So it's very much needed. So therefore, highly cohesion group are more effective and productive than less cohesion group when their goal aligned with organization goals. So always make sure that work goal should align with organizational goal. This organization goal should align with strategy, vision, mission of the company. So therefore, this proper alignment, vision, mission, goals, like goals, objectives, strategies, and they should align properly with the work goals, strategy, etc. Okay, look at this picture. Like the relationship between cohesiveness and productivity. So like alignment of group and organizational goals are there. When you look at this, like cohesion is very like cohesion low and organizational, there is no proper alignment between organizational goals and group, then it goes to decrease productivity. But cohesion mean unity is there, but there if unity is high, as well as if there's a proper alignment with group goals and organization goal, increase the productivity. But if cohesion is unity is not there with the group, and but there is a proper alignment between group goal and organization goal, moderately productivity will be increased. But if both, like if there is no proper alignment between group and organizational goals, and if there is no group unity, actually no significant effect on productivity. So therefore, you have to understand the relationship between cohesiveness as well as alignment of group and organization goal. Then the other one is group processes. So when we talk about group processes, processes that go within a work group, such as communication processes, group decision making, conflict management process, all these processes should be nicely described. For every step should be nicely explained in a very simple and a descriptive manner. So communication process mean like how we communicate with the other people, with what is the mode of communication channel, and likewise we should decide. Then group decision making process, like sometime so actually you may have learned about group decision making, where in your life, initially for you have to identify the alternatives, then you have to evaluate the alternatives for the situation, then select the most appropriate alternative, and then after implement the alternative and see whether the alternative is the alternative for your decision is successful or not. So likewise, group decision making process should be explained. And conflict management process, like how we are going to manage the conflict. So we'll be discussing it later. So initially we have to identify the conflict, then whether we go with compromise, collaboration, or avoiding. Likewise, different techniques are there. So you should decide how you are going to resolve conflict. So why understanding group processes is important? Because when we know the group processes very correctly, easily we can perform individual tasks as well as group tasks. There group performance, and there is no frustration. There is no argument if processes are clearly explained. List any two important group processes and describe them separately. I have given three group processes here, so you don't want to find another three. At least study these three in an intense manner is sufficient for your examination. Then list four advantages and four disadvantages of to do group disadvantages do group decision over individual decision. So basically, try to write down. So when I give this question, these are exam focused questions. So you are obliged to find like advantages, four advantages of group decision over individual decision, and four disadvantages do group decision over individual decision. So try to list three advantages and three disadvantages from your end. Then techniques for making more creative group decision. Actually, so when we are going to make group decision, we can go with three techniques called brainstorming, nominal group technique, and electronic meeting. Electronic meeting, like through Zoom or Microsoft Teams, we can sort out the issue. So decision making, electronic meeting mean like decision making group that interact by using linked computers. Like through Zoom platform, through Microsoft Teams, we try to discuss. We consider it as a discussion forum and try to sort out the issue. Like brainstorming mean like an idea generation process that encourage alternative while withholding criticism. We are not criticizing the brainstorming session. We try to collect. We try to collect idea, but we are not criticize any idea that they are giving. Nominal group technique mean like a group decision making technique which in which group members are presented there with a problem, and each member independently write down his or her idea on the problem, and then each member present one idea to the group until all ideas have been presented. No discussion take place until all ideas have been presented. So when a problem is given, every member will write down independently their ideas, and they will present it in front of the others. And then once all have been presented their idea, then no discussion take place. So out then after evaluating all these discussions, they can select the most appropriate solution for the situation. So then anyhow, brainstorming, nominal group technique, and electronic meeting are three weapons or three techniques what we can use for group decision making process. So as I told you, like conflicts are inevitable. So conflicts are inevitable. So therefore, there are perceived incompatible differences in a group. So therefore, like in a traditional weave, conflicts must be avoided. Then from HR aspect, conflicts are natural and inevitable. අපි කියන්නේ හරිම සාම්ප්‍රදායිකව බලනකොට ගැටුම් දිහා ඒක අපි දකින්නේ ගැටුම් කියන දේවල් නතර කරන්න බැරි මිනිස්සු අතර බිහි වෙන සාමාන්‍ය කාරණාවක්. එතකොට when you look at this concept from HR perspective, අපි කියන මිනිස්සු since they have different personalities, conflicts are natural and inevitable. From interactionist view, conflicts can be positive force that is absolutely necessary for effective group performance. සමහර අය දකින්නේ මේ ගැටුම් කියන දේවල් highly required for effective group performance. Like there are positive aspect of, like, let's say if groups are having conflicts, they may try to come up with different ideas to win their suggestion. තමා කියපු දේ ඔප්පු කරන්න වෙන වෙන නිර්මාණශීලී අදහස් වලින් එන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ නිසා සමහර ආයතන දකින්නේ conflicts are very favorable, which create favorable consequences. So anyhow, my opinion is conflicts are inevitable and it is very natural, as well as there are some positive side of conflict and negative, because when we consider about interpersonal conflicts which happen between two or more parties, so those are very dangerous conflict. In දෙපාර්ශ්වයක් අතර යම්කිසි ගැටුමක් ඇති වුණාම ඒ සම්බන්ධතා අහිමි වීම කියන එක හරි භයානකයි. Elisa, we cannot tell always conflicts are positive. No, there are some negative, especially interpersonal conflicts are very unfavorable for an organization. When there is a conflict between two or more parties, අපි කියන හිතක් කැඩුනම ආය හදන්න බෑ වගේ, sometimes it goes to destroy the relationship between members of the organization. So there are categories of conflict, like functional conflicts are constructive and there are dysfunctional conflict. Conflict can be functional and dysfunctional. So there are different types of conflicts. Like task conflict means contain like a conflict which arised because of a task. එමිසි වැඩක් දුන්න මේ වැඩේ මත කරන වැඩේ කරන කවුද කියන එක මත ප්‍රශ්න ඇති වෙනවා නම් ඒ වැඩේ කරන ආකාරය මත ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා. It's a task conflict. Relationship conflict is what I have told you a few minutes ago. Relationship conflicts mean interpersonal, like conflicts which cause to break interpersonal relationship. They are very dangerous. Actually, relationship conflict should not be encouraged in an organization, always should discourage. Process conflict means how the work gets done, but how the work gets done. Sometimes if we are not clearly define the step of the process, such as recruitment process, decision making process, conflict resolution process, then process conflict arise. හරියට ඒ process එකේ step එක කියලා නැත්තම් හිතන්න employee selection process එකේදී හරියට කියලා නැති නිසා කෙනෙක් අපි කියමු කෙනෙක්ගේ ඇඳුරුම්කමකට ආයතනයට ආවම එතෙන්දී process එකක් නැති නිසා conflict එකක් ඇති වෙනවා. So therefore, in order to avoid process conflict, better to have SOP, standard operating procedures. It is highly required to explain all processes in an organization in a very ethical manner. Why relationship conflicts are almost always dysfunctional? Obviously, as I told you, like when people have argument or a frustration regarding their relationship, it is really hard to get it back to the normal. Because in interpersonal conflicts, people are dealing with emotions, feelings. So therefore, question number 9, successful organization will come to reorganize that functional conflict. Do you agree with this statement? Successful organization will come to recognize that functional conflict. Yes, but there are functional conflicts which cause to stimulate innovation, creativity within the company. Yeah, successful organization will come to recognize that functional conflict. Again, හැමතිස්සෙම ගැටුමක් ඇති වුණාම මේකේ හොඳ පැත්තෙන් හඳුනා ගන්න පුළුවන් ආයතනක් තියෙනවා. ඒ ආයතන සාර්ථක ආයතන කියලා අපි කියනවා. So sometimes some organization purposely create conflicts to reinforce or stimulate their innovation, creativity. Like competition between two departments, like competition between like competition over innovative ideas among the department. So it's creating a conflict with different ideas, but try to stimulate innovation and creativity. Techniques to manage conflicts. There are 5 techniques we can use, like avoidance, accommodation, forcing, compromise, collaboration. Let's see one by one and let's decide which one is more appropriate in the current context. Look at this. Like let's assume there are two parties like assertiveness and cooperativeness mean like support each other. Actually, this model has been introduced in 1992 by Thomas in the book called like Conflict and Negotiation Process in Organization. It's in a book. So therefore, when we look at there are 5 techniques we can use to resolve conflict. Assertiveness mean like self-confidence, self-confidence and cooperativeness. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ group දෙකේම තියෙන assertiveness and cooperativeness. group දෙකේම තියෙන සහයෝගීතාවය සහ ආත්ම විශ්වාසය, කියන්නේ ගැටුම කෙරෙහි ඇති ආත්ම විශ්වාසය, ගැටුම කෙරෙහි ඇති තදබල අවබෝධය කියන එක තමයි assertiveness කියලා කියන්නේ. Cooperativeness කියලා කියන්නේ එකිනෙකා අතර තියෙන සහයෝගීතාවය. එතකොට let's assume if assertiveness is high but cooperativeness is no forcing. ඒ කියන්නේ මම ප්‍රශ්නේ ගැන හොඳට දැනුවත්. නමුත් මම අනිත් අයත් එක්ක සහයෝගයෙන් කටයුතු කරන්න බැයි නම් then I force myself to win my demand, resolving conflict by satisfying own need at the expense of another. අනිත් කෙනා ගැන හිතන්නේ මම හැමතිස්සෙම force කරන්නේ මගේ දේ කරගන්න because I am not cooperative but I am really confident over my issue need conflict. Then avoiding mean like both parties are not cooperative as well as both parties do not have very good idea about the conflict. Then try to avoid that situation. But this is very dangerous. Avoid උනාට කොයි වෙලාවෙ හරි ආහේ අර වතුරයට ගිල්ලපු බෝලේ රබර් බෝලේ වගේ ආයෙ එනවා. උඩට එනවා. So resolving conflict by withdrawing from or suppressing them. తాවකාලිකව නතර කරලා තියනවා එක withdraw වෙලා යන දෙපාර්ශ්වයෙන්. Compromising mean both parties have average knowledge about the conflict and both parties have average cooperativeness. Then what will happen eventually? They try to compromise. කියන්නේ අපි දෙගොල්ලෝ මැද තැනකට එමු කියලා ඒගොල්ලෝ කතා වෙනවා. Let's try to come to the middle level, middle position. Then collaborate, like accommodating mean like both parties are highly cooperative, but they are not very confident over the issue. Assertiveness low, but cooperative wise, both parties at the high level. Then resolving conflict by placing another's need and concern above your need. ඒ කියන්නේ හැමතිස්සෙම කියන හරි කමක් නෑ ඔයා කියන එකත් හරි. ඒ කියන්නේ ඒ අනිත් කෙනාට තැන දෙනවා කියලා අපි කියන්නේ. මම ප්‍රශ්නේ ගැන හැරටම දන්නේ නැති නිසා මම අනිත් කෙනාට තැන දෙනවා. This is also not good, right? Accommodate කරන එක හොඳයි. නමුත් අපි ප්‍රශ්නේ ගැන දන්නේ නැහැ කියන එක භයානකයි. But this is the best one, collaborative. Both are cooperative, and if both are assertive or a confidence over the issue, resolving conflict by seeking an advantageous solution. This is a place where we can draw win-win solution. So this win-win solution is long last. Sustainable solution can be derived because both parties are very cooperative, well understanding about each other, as well as they are very understanding about the conflict as well. Then group task and group effectiveness. Let's look at group task and group effectiveness. When talk about complexity and interdependence of the task that influence group effectiveness. As I told you, the complexity of the task and the interdependency of the task. Tasks are either simple or complex, and simple tasks are routine, can make routine and standardized, but complex tasks should be novel and non-routine. So similarly, high degree of independence among the tasks that group members must perform mean they will need to interact more. So effective communication and controlled conflicts are very important for group performance. When tasks are complex and interdependent, please highlight this last sentence. Thus, effective communication and controlled conflict are more important for high group performance when tasks are complex and interdependent. It is the message of this group task and group effectiveness. Then groups into effective teams. So as I told you, like groups are differ from teams. Like when talk about group, when we appoint a person for a group, actually in a group, we try to individually complete our task. When individually people complete their task, eventually the task will be completed. But effective team is not like that. For a team, when we appoint a team, we cannot work as an isolated person. We cannot only perform our duty. But in a group, we can individually perform our duty and we can go home. But in a team, we cannot do like that. High interdependency is there. So work team differ from work group. They have their own unique trait. So work group interact primarily to share information and make decision to help each other to his or her job more efficiently. තනිතනියම තමාගේ වැඩ කරනවා, but they share information and make decision in a work group. But in a team, we cannot we cannot independently work. We have to depend on the others. So therefore, there is no need or opportunity for work group to engage in collective work. As I told you, they can perform their own work individually. A work team or group whose members work intensely on a specific or a common goal. Always for a team, there is a group. There is a common goal. Then අපි කියන්නේ basketball group එකක් කියන්නේ basketball team because all basketball 5 members get together and they play to win the match. Football team also like that. All to get together, they have a common goal that is win the game. And there are they independent each other. තනියම ගිහලා goal එකක් ගන්න බැහැනේ. තනියම ගිහලා shoot කරන්න බෑ basketball වල. Using their positive energy between individual and mutual accountability is there. So we have mutual accountability. So we are always accountable what we are doing. අපි තනියම ගිහලා goal එකක් score කරන්න ගිහලා වැරදුනොත් ඒකට අපි accountable. So always we have to independent. We cannot be independent. We have to depend each other. But when we work in a group, we can independent. We can share information. It can be done. But anyhow, we can work independently. But anyhow, in a work team, we cannot work independently. We required mutual accountability and interdependency and mutual dependency is there. I have differentiated here work team and work group. Like teams, leadership role is shared, but work group leader clearly in charge. In a team, accountable to self and team, but in a work group, accountable only to the self. Team creates specific purpose. For a team, there is a specific purpose, but in a work group, purpose is same as broad as organization purpose. In a work team, work is done in collectively, but in a work group, work is done individually. Meeting characteristic by open-ended discussion and collaborative problem solving, but in a group, meeting characteristic by efficiency, no collaboration or open-ended discussion because we are only responsible for our activity. And performance is measured directly by evaluating collective work output. Please highlight that word. But performance is measured indirectly according to its influence on another. That when individual performance will focus on and work is decided upon and done together. But in a group, work is decided upon by group leader and delegated to individual group members. So group leader give the task to the group member. But in a team, no, they decide, they done together. So now the next question is, what are the characteristics of an effective team? I have listed here only few. Clear goal, a relevant skill, like in a team, like let's think about a basketball team, think about a football team. They should have a clear goal, win the game. And relevant skill, like communication skills, interpersonal skills, likewise mutual trust should be there. එකන අපි බෝලේ වුණත් තව කෙනෙකුට පාස් කරන්න, ෆුට්බෝල් එක පාස් කරන්න, there is a mutual trust. We believe that he can help me. Unified commitment. They have a very high commitment, good communication, negotiation skill because there is a high interdependency, appropriate leadership. Leader කෙනෙක් ඉන්නනේ නායකයෙක් ඉන්නවා team එකට. Internal support within the team and external support from the coach or other sponsors, etc. So therefore, it is difficult to getting like basically in a work team, current challenges in managing teams, it is very difficult to getting employee to cooperate with each other, sharing. But we know, like even though they work in a team or a group, but anyhow, since people have different personalities, it's difficult to getting employee to cooperate with each other, share information, and confront differences. So therefore, it is highly required to transfer personal interest for the greater good of them. So list 7 current challenges in managing teams. So it's homework for you. List 7 challenges in managing teams. But anyhow, I have given you 4 challenges: cooperate with each other, share information among the group or a team, confront differences, like since they have different personalities, and transfer personal interest to the greater good of the team. But anyhow, since I have requested to write down to 7, I have already given 4 here. You please try to find out another three challenges in managing teams. It's homework for you. So this is a reference. This is a book what I have referred for, to prepare this presentation. I used the book written by Robinson Kotler 2016, 13th edition. The book name is Management, and you can decide and commit succeed because you are the one who should prepare your own short note as well as everything. Let's look at the intelligent learning outcome. I believe that you understood the difference between group and team. So we initially identify 7 steps for sharpen your negotiation skill. Define what is a group. We identify different type of groups such as formal, informal, command, cross-functional, task group, and discuss stages of group development, 5 stages, like forming, storming, norming, performing, and joining, and identify external condition imposed on work group. Explain major 3 factors determine group performance and explain 5 conflict management techniques and define what is a work team, and differentiate work group from work team in tabular manner, and explain characteristic of effective team. And finally, I explained you 4 challenges, and I requested from you to find another 3 challenges of managing teams. Give me a few minutes. I'll show you a small video, and from that video, I wind up the session. And I kindly request from you, my dear student, I'm sharing this video not for the entertainment purpose, but for your knowledge. So kindly request from you to write down any additional information which will be shared in this video, other than the things what I have discussed in this recording. Oh, look at these 5 essential stages of team development, group development. Please look at this and please watch this video.
Hi! In this video, you will learn how a team is developed in a business. Building a team takes time and effort. Do not expect a group of people to work together smoothly for the first time. Without proper leadership and management skills, you will not be able to build an exceptional team. Communication between members is also very important when developing a team. The following are 5 essential stages that a business goes through during team development. The first stage is the forming stage. In this stage, members are getting to know each other. They are trying to understand the roles that must be taken and the goals that are addressed to achieve. The leader at this point is working together with the colleagues, directing them to what this is all about. The second stage is the storming stage. In this stage, conflicts arise. Members are uncomfortable with their fellow colleagues. Competition for roles and leadership arises. Differences in perspectives and experiences collide with each other. At this point, the leader steps in to reduce tension. Next comes the norming stage. In this stage, members are starting to communicate together. Trust is starting to build among them. By now, everyone knows what their role is. Leaders at this point are settling communications between members, enabling the start of a stable teamwork. Now we reach the performing stage. In this stage, a high level of communication, understanding, and trust has been achieved between the team members. Individuals are working together efficiently to achieve their common goal. Group decision-making, collaboration, motivation, and effective development is happening here. At this point, leaders offer gratitude to their members individually and also as a team for their striving performance. The last stage is the adjourning stage. In this stage, the delegated roles have either been completed effectively or not. The goal has been achieved or not. According to the accomplishments, the team either becomes permanent or temporary. Some members are forced to go back to the early stages due to their incapability of achieving what was desired. Others remain as a stable team, taking on more responsibilities on future projects. As explained, team development goes through 5 stages that we advise to help you lead your employees to a joint effort.
Okay. Then actually, I just want to tell you, my dear student, I'm not. So actually, we are not always pushing you to study, but anyhow, you should decide whether you are going to make your own short note and work according to that. Because in the final examination, it is not a difficult task if you studied these things what we have already told you. in these lecture recordings, and please refer the given handout. So in the LMS, we have already given you this handout, as well as the now lecture recording is available with you. At the same time, I have given you 3 exercises, like I have given some case studies, then multiple choice questions. Then after I have given you some essay type questions. So, and glossary also provided. So I kindly request from you to try to uh, like mm, find the new information. Not, don't limit to the given handout. It is not required, it is not sufficient. So therefore try to find more new information to your handout and try to add color to your handout. So it is that it is called learning. Okay, so please try to find whether the things what I have taught you is true and accurate. So it's my kind suggestion. So I wish all the very best for your studies, and I'm Dr. Michelle from University of California. Have a nice day to all.